Bill here, Whirly Bird Video Productions. I've got my next project in and we're starting to get the work done on it. We're going to get this finished and get some flight footage of it this weekend. That's a 600 size MD500 I was telling you guys about. So it's a MD500, so it's a Hughes 500 helicopter fuselage. It's a 600 size, so it fits 600 size mechanics. I'm going to be digging one of the helicopters off the shelf that's got some dust built on it. It's an old T-Rex 600 clone from Hobby King, so it's the HK 600 if you guys have seen that. Of course, it's not really an HK 600 anymore. Most of the parts are aligned. I replaced all the gears and all of that wonderful stuff when I originally built the helicopter with aligned parts, and from top to bottom pretty much. And now I actually went from a flybar to a flybarless, and of course I can't find a flybarless EFL head anywhere. So, you know, everyone's went DFC, and DFC is great for doing 3D, but when you're doing scale helicopters, you kind of need a little bit of length above the top of your fuselage. Otherwise, you have to build a huge platform inside the fuselage to try to get your mechanics up tall enough so that your blades, you're not going to hit your tail boom. So at any rate, you know, I was going to buy one of the Chaos 600s, but I was like, you know, I've still got that thing. It still flies good. Needs some maintenance and upgraded, so we're going to do maintenance on it while we've got it apart. Put the new head, new swash plate assembly on it, some new linkages. So we're going to be putting the Model Sounds Inc. Shockwave sound system in here. I'm going to put some 3-inch speakers that I got from Parts Express. Got the little catalog right here. Now they don't have the Shockwave sound system. You still got to go to Model Sounds Inc. to get that. And that's Model Sounds Inc. and you can get the link down in the description below. These are Viston 3-inch speakers, which are the same brand that I got from Model Sounds Inc. They are 3-inch versus the 4-inch. The 4 inches would not fit in the fuselage. So I wanted to try to get it as loud as I could, so I got some 3-inch speakers. So this particular fuselage has a wonderful color scheme on it. You guys are going to know that if you're old enough to remember the television show that I'm going to have a theme song playing for. You guys know I like the theme song with the Corsair. And I wanted a theme song for the Huey, but I didn't have an extra channel to start my sounds. So I'm working on trying to get that going. But in this particular helicopter, I'm installing a 3GX flybarless system that I got really, really cheap. So that's why I want to use it. And I'm also going to be installing a 9-channel receiver that I got from my Spectrum. It came with my DX18 when I got it. So I'm going to be using it. So I've got several good open channels. So I'm actually going to put one of the channels going to my throttle input and also a channel for my sound. So I can actually, you know, I re-step those sounds on those other ones. I can actually set up one channel to where I can set a mixed for a top and the bottom so that I don't have to re-step the sounds, or at least I can change it on the fly. I can change that mix on the fly and make those sounds step up or down as I need to. So this is a 3-inch speaker and it says maximum power is 15 watts. So I'll probably have to be careful with my volume because the little Model Sounds Inc. puts out 20 watts. So at any rate, here are the Viston 3-inch speakers. I think they actually say these are 2. I'm looking at the box. It doesn't say. It's like 2 3/4, I think. So, but you can see it's got a nice foam faceplate here that's going to do really well. So when I bolt that down, I won't have any good vibration coming off of the fuselage. And I'm going to mount this down underneath the deck there, just kind of like that. There's going to be 2 of them in there, and I've actually already marked this on the bottom. So let's flip it over and you can see where I plan on putting these. This is a big old fuselage. And you can see I got this glare going on, but I've already marked them. So I'm going to drill the holes first. These are the holes to mount the speakers. I'm going to drill those first. And then once I get those drilled, I'm going to draw a line across the corners and find my center. And then I'm just going to take a hole saw. I actually got a 3-inch hole saw. So I'm going to take the 3-inch hole saw and cut that right out of there. That's where they're going to go, so this should be a really simple install. Once I get these cut out, of course, I'll take some alcohol and clean off that. And then I'll take, on the inside, I'm going to take some screen and put over that. so that the screen will kind of cover that a little bit. And I may take in some orange paint and yellow paint and paint that screen some brown and try to camouflage that screen up a little bit. But we'll probably do the first test flights with just the screen on there. I actually have to go over to Harbor Freight tomorrow and see if I can get some screen. So I'm going to try to go by there and get some screen tomorrow. So folks, I got some screen. I actually didn't get this from Harbor Freight. I got it from Ace Hardware. This screen is actually, it's kind of hard to tell with me holding it there. It's a polymer plastic woven cloth like deal. This is actually screen for pets. So like if you've got a screen door and you're trying to put some pet resistance, you know, anti-scratch tear screen up, this is what it is. This looked a lot stronger. It's lighter, and I thought the plastic would hold up a little better. So I bought some of that, and I ended up buying like 2 feet, and it was only like $6 for 2 feet of it. And of course, it's 2 feet by 2 foot by 3 foot, I guess it is. It's a great big piece of screen. I told the dude that would probably last me the rest of my life. Depends on how many sound systems I put in, I guess. But what it is I cut this a little bit bigger than what I needed, and I just kind of held it up here. That's on the bottom. Of course, we're not going to mount it. We're going to actually mount this on the inside. So we'll flip it over here and show you that. That's going to go right down in there. And I'll probably have to trim it up a little to get it to lay flat. I want it against that back former. And then I'm going to take my hot glue, and I'm actually going to take some hot glue and just tack it everywhere around the corners, just a little in the middle, and get it to where it's going to stay where I want it with hot glue. And then I'm going to mix some epoxy up, and I'm going to brush that epoxy all the way around, basically seal all the way around it with some epoxy. So we'll get that started, and shouldn't take real long, actually. Probably take longer for the hot glue gun to heat up than it will to do all this. So stay tuned. Okay, folks, I took some hot glue. You can see kind of a little there in the center and around the corners, and kind of got it good and flat with some hot glue. Now the hot glue's kind of set up. I got one little raised corner. I just put that one on. I have to push that back down just a little and let the hot glue set up. But at any rate, what I'm going to do is mix some epoxy, and then I'm going to thin it down with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, so I can use a brush to actually paint it on there with. So I've got, you know, some epoxy brushes, and now we'll just mix up some epoxy. Of course, it's, you know, you guys worked with epoxy before. It's so mixed it up. Here, got a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. That's a little capful. Doesn't take much. And then we'll just mix that up, make a nice thin paint, and we'll paint it on. So we got it thin. Might have been just a little bit too thin, actually, but at any rate, it'll set up. So then you're just going to brush that on just like that. We'll brush all this on all the way around, and I'll completely saturate everywhere it's touching the fiberglass. Basically make that one piece again. And then we'll paint the screen to match the outside, and everything will look wonderful. Wunderbar. Wunderbar. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, folks, so we got our screen in, and I went over and painted the screen to kind of match the color scheme. Everything looks pretty good. The brown looks a little darker on the screen when I'm looking at the camcorder, but actually, you know, if I look at it in the naked eye, it looks like it matches pretty good. I think it's just picking up that color. Kind of weird. You can tell my orange is a little off. What I'm going to let that dry good, then I'm going to go back and put one more coat. What you have to do is you have to paint this stuff, and then it blocks up, and then you just blow on it real easy, either with some air or use that good old lung power, which is what I did. And just kind of blow real lightly over it, and it'll blow the paint down through the screen. And if you just blow easy, it won't go everywhere inside the fuselage. You can tell the fuselage looks kind of clean. It's no doubt it's on the back side of that former there, but you can see a few pieces of yellow there. But anyway, when that's flying around, that's going to look cool. It's good and camouflaged. I got to go back after it dries and get some alcohol and rub off these magic markers a little better. If I had it to do over, I wouldn't use a Sharpie because it takes a little bit of more rubbing than usual. Normally I have some remover that I have for a debonder for CA, and it takes that stuff right off, but I'm out of that, so I'm going to have to get some. But I tried some acetone and it took it off all, but the yellow there, you can really see that. So anyway, we'll get some alcohol and order some debonder and use that, because I've used the debonder before and it takes it right off. Of course, we got this wonderful Magnum PI color scheme. It's actually not a Magnum PI. Well, it is a Magnum PI color scheme. Hughes made this color scheme way back when? Well, back when the Magnum PI show was on. So it became famous, though, as the Magnum PI color scheme. Of course, this was TC's helicopter that Magnum always gave TC a heck about, giving him rides all over the place. So, of course, I've got a little bit of theme music. And, of course, I like the theme music. So here, this is the sound system in the helicopter. Okay, so that's the theme song. Of course, I've got the whole theme song on there, but I just played a little and I stopped it. So I got this hooked up on my auxiliary channel, so actually, just like the Corsair, I tap that twice and that starts my music. I've even got the end of the theme, which is my third one. So yeah, that's the end of the thing. So I figured at the end of the flight I can play that as I'm walking off the field. So at any rate, you guys want to hear the engine. That's what you really want to hear, right? So I'm going to start up the turbine. This is an electric helicopter, but we're using the Model Sounds Inc. Shockwave Sound system and two 3-inch speakers. So here is the startup. Of course, my helicopter's in hold. And we're just going to start it up using the switch, because the startup for helicopters is right here by default. And I just hit that once and it starts up, and then I can control the blades with my throttle stick to try to mimic the blade music or sound, not music, sound of the Shockwave sound system. But we're not going to run it up because we're inside. All we're going to do is start up the helicopter. So here we go. Click. Now I ran this with my decimal meter just a few moments ago. I'm going to go ahead and get the helicopter safe here. Get us unhooked. So I ran that decimal meter a while ago, and I actually got 103 decibels. My battery's dead on my camera. I'd do it again, so you have to trust me. I got 103, which is pretty respectable for 3-inch speakers. The 4 inches, you know, on the Corsair got a little louder, but with the 3 inches, it sounds really good. So, folks, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Give me a big thumbs up, rate, and subscribe. I need all the help I can get. And, of course, all these, you know, Model Sounds Inc. and all these companies that send me stuff or give me discounts, or even just give me, you know, a possibility of giving me a discount later after they see page views and subscription rates. So, of course, that's what everybody looks at. So I need lots of help there. Another little heads up, the flight footage will be coming up, and the flight footage is actually going to be up in Ohio, Canton, Ohio. I'm going up to see the guys from Flight Test, so I'll be seeing Josh, and David, and Chad, and all the gang, and we're going to do some flight footage with them with scale helicopters. So I'll save that video for that, so my video will be mixed with their video a little bit, hopefully, and hopefully you get to see it on my channel and their channel. So again, thanks for watching. Please rate, subscribe, give me a big thumbs up. I really appreciate each and every viewer, and we'll see you next time on Whirly Bird Video.